New York, Polo Grounds, May 25th, 1922, Thursday afternoon, 3:30 p.m. Babe Ruth walks toward dugout. Game over. Yankees lost 5-3 to Washington Senators. Ruth ejected. Again. Been back only 5 games. Already ejected. Already causing problems. Already disappointing everyone. And the crowd knows it. 10,000 people watching, and they are not happy. They paid to see Babe Ruth, the Sultan of SWAT, the home run king, the greatest hitter in baseball. But what did they get? Strikeouts, pop-outs, errors, excuses. 5 games since his return from suspension, 5 disasters. Batting average .095, not .195, not .295, .095. Worse than pitchers, worse than bench warmers, worse than anyone. And today, 0 for 4. Another strikeout, another disappointment, another embarrassment. The crowd started booing in 2nd inning, got louder in 4th, became deafening in 7th. By 9th inning, entire stadium was against him. Big bum! Play ball! You're washed up! Go home! Ruth heard every word, felt every insult, absorbed every bit of hatred, and it built inside him rage, frustration, humiliation, all mixing together, creating pressure, creating explosion, waiting for trigger. The trigger came in 9th inning. Ruth tried stretching single into double, slid into second base, called out. Close play, very close. Ruth disagreed, argued with umpire George Hildebrand. I was safe. You were out, Mr. Ruth. No, I was safe. Look at the bag. The call stands. Please return to dugout. Ruth did not return to dugout. Ruth grabbed handful of dirt, threw it in Hildebrand's face. Umpire's eyes filled with dirt. Could not see, could not breathe, spitting, coughing. Wiping face, Ruth standing there, watching, satisfied. Hildebrand recovered, furious. You are ejected. Get out of this game. Ruth turned, started walking toward dugout, and that is when it happened. That is when everything exploded. To understand this moment, need to understand what led here. Need to understand Ruth's last 6 weeks. Need to understand why 10,000 fans turned against their hero. It started in October 1921. World Series just ended. Yankees lost to Giants. Ruth played poorly. Disappointing performance. But season was over. Time to rest. Time to recover. Except Ruth did not rest. Ruth decided to make money. Barnstorming tour, taking team of all-stars across country. Playing exhibition games, small towns, big crowds, easy money. Problem was, Commissioner Landis had rule. No barnstorming tours for World Series players. Rule existed to protect World Series exclusivity, to maintain its importance, to prevent players from diluting the championship with cheap exhibitions after. But Ruth did not care about rule, did not care about commissioner, did not care about consequences. He had bills to pay, expensive lifestyle to maintain, debts to cover. So he went on tour anyway, played games in Buffalo, in Syracuse, in Scranton, making thousands of dollars, enjoying adulation, loving attention. Then Commissioner Landis acted, summoned Ruth to his office. You violated the rules. You barnstormed despite prohibition. You showed contempt for my authority. I am suspending you. First 6 weeks of 1922 season. No pay, no games, no negotiation. Ruth was shocked. 6 weeks? That is excessive? No, that is the rule. You knew it. You broke it. Now you face consequences. Ruth tried appealing, tried negotiating, tried apologizing. Nothing worked. Suspension stood. Ruth sat out April, sat out early May, watched his team play without him. Yankees did fine, won most games, did not need him. That hurt more than suspension itself. May 20th, 1922. Suspension ended. Ruth returned, and Yankees celebrated by making him captain, team captain, leader, symbol of franchise. Ruth was honored, proud, ready to prove himself, ready to dominate, ready to remind everyone why he was greatest. But baseball had other plans. First game back, May 20th, against Cleveland. Ruth went 0 for 4, 1 strikeout, 2 pop-outs, 1 ground out, nothing. Crowd was patient. He is rusty. Been away 6 weeks. Give him time. Second game, May 21st. Ruth went 0 for 3. Another strikeout. Crowd less patient. Come on, babe, wake up. Third game, May 22nd. Ruth got 1 hit, but also 2 strikeouts. Crowd frustrated. What is wrong with him? Fourth game, May 23rd. Ruth went 0 for 4 again. Crowd turning hostile, beginning to boo. Not everyone, but enough. Fifth game, May 24th. Ruth went 0 for 3. More strikeouts, more failures, more disappointment. Now everyone booing, even loyal fans, even people who loved him. Because this was not rust. This was not adjustment. This was collapse. Ruth, batting point .095 after 5 games. Worst start of his career. And today, May 25th, was supposed to be turnaround, was supposed to be redemption, was supposed to be moment Ruth reminded everyone who he was. But it was not. 0 for 4. Another strikeout, another failure, another game lost. And when Ruth threw dirt in umpire's face. When he was ejected for 3rd time this season, when he walked toward dugout with 10,000 people booing, something inside him broke. Not sadness, not shame, rage, pure unfiltered rage. At himself, at umpires, at fans, at everyone. As Ruth walked toward dugout, crowds' booing intensified. Some fans stood up, pointing, yelling, mocking. Ruth stopped walking, turned around, looked at crowd, and did something nobody expected. He took off his cap, held it high, and mockingly tipped it to crowd. Sarcastic bow, insulting gesture. "Thank you for your support," he shouted, sarcasm dripping. Crowd went wild, not cheering, furious. "Play ball, you bum! Earn your money! You're a disgrace!" One voice louder than others, one fan in front section, leaning over railing, screaming. "You goddamned big bum! Why don't you play ball?" Ruth heard it. Locked eyes with fan. Could see him clearly. Row 3, section 12, right near dugout. Close enough to hit, close enough to reach, close enough to fight. And Ruth made decision. He was going after him. Ruth started walking toward stands, climbing toward fan. "You want to say that to my face?" Fan saw Ruth coming, panicked, started backing away, moving through crowd, trying to escape. Other fans between them, blocking Ruth, slowing him down. Ruth pushing through, not giving up, determined. "Get out of my way! Let me through!" Fans grabbing Ruth, holding him back. "Babe, stop!" "He is not worth it. You will get suspended again." Ruth fought against them, but too many hands, too many bodies. Fan escaped, disappeared into crowd, out of reach, out of sight. Ruth stood there, breathing hard, furious, denied his target, denied his revenge, but still needing outlet, still needing to express rage. That is when Ruth did something that became legend, something that 10,000 witnesses would talk about for rest of their lives, something that showed who Babe Ruth really was when pushed to limit. Ruth turned away from stands, walked back toward dugout, but did not go into dugout, climbed onto dugout roof, stood on top, above everyone, visible to entire stadium, and started yelling, not at one fan, at all of them, at everyone. "Come on down and fight!" His voice echoing across Polo Grounds. "Anyone who wants to fight, Come down on the field. Silence. Stunned silence. 10,000 people frozen. Did Babe Ruth just challenge entire stadium? Did he just invite everyone to fight him? Did he just declare war on his own fans? Ruth was not done. You think I am bum? You think I am washed up? Come down here and say it to my face. Still no response. Nobody moving. Nobody accepting challenge. Nobody brave enough. Ruth saw this. Smiled. Mean smile. Knowing smile. That is what I thought. You are all yellow. Yellow. 1920s slang for coward. Ultimate insult. Calling entire stadium cowards. 10,000 people. All yellow. All afraid. All talk but no action. Crowd erupted. Not moving toward field, but screaming, yelling, threatening. But from safe distance, from seats, from sections. Not from field. Not from Ruth's level. Not from where it mattered. Ruth stood on dugout roof another minute. Arms spread wide. Daring anyone, challenging everyone. But nobody came. Not one person climbed onto field. Not one person accepted challenge. Not one person faced Ruth man to man. So Ruth climbed down, disappeared into dugout, walked through tunnel, left stadium, left crowd, left chaos behind. But his message was clear. You can boo me, you can insult me, you can hate me, but if you want to fight, come find me. And nobody did. If you're enjoying these untold baseball stories and want more, I'd really appreciate your support. If you're watching on TV right now, please grab your phone and search for our channel to subscribe. It truly helps us bring you more of these incredible historical moments. And whether you're on TV or mobile, drop a comment below. Was Ruth right to challenge the entire stadium, or did he go too far? I'd love to hear your thoughts. News of Ruth's dugout roof challenge spread instantly. Reporters rushed to write stories. Ruth challenges entire crowd. Babe calls fans yellow. Sultan of SWAT declares war on Polo Grounds. Yankees management horrified. This was their captain, their leader, their face of franchise, standing on dugout roof, challenging fans to fight, calling them cowards, creating chaos. This could not stand. Manager Miller Huggins called Ruth into office next morning. Babe, what were you thinking? I was thinking those fans disrespect me. After everything I have done for this city, for this team, for this sport, they boo me during worst slump of my career. They call me bum. They insult me. No, I will not accept that. So you challenge entire stadium to fight? Yes, and nobody came, because they are cowards. All of them. Talk big from seats. But put them on field? Nothing, just yellow. Babe, you cannot do this. You are captain now. Team leader. You must set example. I set example. I showed that Babe Ruth does not back down, does not accept disrespect, does not let fans push him around. That is not the example we need. Ruth was silent, realized something, realized his captaincy was in danger, realized he had gone too far. Am I being stripped? I do not know yet. That decision comes from higher up. But, babe, you need to control yourself. Your temper is destroying your career, your relationships, your reputation. You are greatest hitter in baseball, but you are becoming known for wrong reasons, not for home runs, for fights, for suspensions, for chaos. Is that what you want? Ruth had no answer, because deep down, he knew Huggins was right, knew he was out of control, knew he was destroying himself, but could not stop, could not control rage, could not accept criticism, could not be anything except what he was: volatile, explosive, dangerous. American League President Van Johnson heard about incident, investigated, interviewed witnesses, reviewed reports, then made decision. Ruth would be suspended again. 1-game suspension, $200 fine, and stripped of captaincy, position given to someone else, someone more responsible, someone more mature. Ruth's tenure as Yankees captain lasted exactly 6 days. May 20th appointed, May 25th stripped. Shortest captaincy in baseball history. Most embarrassing demotion possible. Ruth took news badly, not publicly. Publicly, he said, "I understand, I accept responsibility, I will do better." But privately, he was devastated, humiliated, angry, because this was supposed to be honor, recognition, acknowledgement of his greatness. Instead, became symbol of his failure, symbol of his inability to lead, symbol of how he destroyed everything good given to him. His teammates noticed, saw Ruth was different after demotion, quieter, more withdrawn, still explosive on field, still fighting, still causing problems, but something had broken inside him, some part of his spirit, some part of his confidence. The dugout roof incident became turning point. Not immediately obvious, but looking back, it marked beginning of end for 1922. Ruth. Rest of season was struggle, more fights, more suspensions, more disappointments. Ruth finished 1922 batting .315. Good for most players, terrible for Ruth. Hit only 35 home runs, down from 59 previous year. Only 99 RB is, down from 171. Worst statistical season of his Yankees career, and worst personal year. Constantly fighting, constantly suspended, constantly causing problems. Yankees won pennant anyway, but lost World Series to Giants again. Ruth played poorly. Again. 5-game series. Ruth batted .118. 1 hit in 17 at-bats. One of worst World Series performances ever. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. And it all traced back to that moment. May 25th, 1922, standing on dugout roof, challenging entire stadium, calling them yellow, proving something, but not what he intended. Years later, people asked Ruth about that day, about the dugout roof challenge, about calling fans cowards. Ruth's response was interesting, always interesting. "I was wrong," he would say. "I let anger control me, let pride destroy me, let ego make me stupid. Fans have right to boo. They paid money. They deserve better than .095 batting average. I gave them nothing, then got angry when they responded. That was childish. That was immature. That was classic Babe Ruth. Act first. Think never." But did you mean it? The challenge? Absolutely. In that moment, I wanted to fight everyone, wanted to prove I was still tough, still fearless, still Babe Ruth. But tough is not challenging fans from dugout roof. Tough is ignoring boos, playing through slump, earning respect back. That would have been tough. What I did? That was just stupid. Do you regret it? Every day, because that moment defined that season. Could have been great, instead became disaster. All because I could not control temper, could not accept criticism, could not be better man. This honesty came late, much later, after career ended, after fame faded, after time to reflect. But in 1922, no honesty, no reflection, just rage, just pride, just Babe Ruth being Babe Ruth, destroying himself one outburst at a time. His teammates watched helplessly. They loved Ruth, respected his talent, but could not help him, could not stop his self-destruction. Pitcher Waite Hoyt said later, "Babe was his own worst enemy. When things went well, nobody better. But when things went bad, he exploded. Could not handle failure. We tried helping, but Babe wanted revenge, wanted validation, wanted everyone to admit he was greatest, even when he was playing worst. Lou Gehrig heard about incident, said, "That is not leadership. Leader accepts responsibility, takes criticism, shows maturity. What Ruth did was opposite. That is why they stripped his captaincy. Cannot have captain who fights fans." But some people defended Ruth, said he was provoked, said fans went too far, said booing returning hero during worst slump was cruel. Ruth had just returned from suspension, was rusty, was adjusting, deserved patience, instead got booed mercilessly for 5 straight games. That would break anyone. Ruth just went over edge, just showed everyone what pressure felt like, but delivered in worst possible way, with threats, with challenges, making everything worse. The fans who witnessed Dugout Roof Challenge never forgot, told their children, told their grandchildren. I was there the day Babe Ruth challenged entire Polo Grounds to fight. Nobody went down. Nobody faced him, because we were not yellow. We were smart. You do not fight Babe Ruth, you just boo him, and that hurt him more than any punch ever could. They were right. Booing hurt Ruth more than physical pain, because emotional pain destroyed him, broke something inside that never fully healed. Some fans felt guilty after. One wrote to newspaper, "I was part of mob that drove Ruth to Dugout Roof. Now I feel shame. We broke our hero." That was wrong. Other fans felt Ruth deserved it. "Ruth makes more money in 1 month than I make in 5 years. All we ask is that he play well. Instead, he gives us .095 batting average, then challenges us to fight? No, we have right to demand excellence." Both perspectives had merit. Ruth was overpaid celebrity who needed accountability, and Ruth was human being who needed support. Problem was reconciling those truths, finding balance between expectation and compassion, something neither Ruth nor fans managed on May 25, 1922. That day was collision of pride, Ruth's pride in his greatness, fans' pride in their right to criticize, both sides refusing to bend, both sides escalating, both sides destroying relationship that should have been beautiful, hero and worshippers, star and supporters, legend and believers, all ruined by inability to communicate, to understand, to forgive. The 1922 season taught Ruth lessons, hard lessons, painful lessons, but lessons nonetheless. He learned that fame is fragile, that fans turn quickly, that respect must be earned daily, that greatness is not permanent, that temper destroys everything. Some lessons he applied. 1923 was better. 1924 better still. 1927 was legendary. 60 home runs, best season ever, redemption complete. But 1922? That was rock bottom. That was moment. Ruth realized he was not invincible, not untouchable, not beyond consequences. Dugout Roof was his peak rage, highest point of his self-destruction, standing above everyone, challenging everyone, calling everyone yellow, proving he was strongest, toughest, most fearless, but really proving opposite, proving he was hurt, proving he was vulnerable, proving he needed validation so desperately that he would fight entire stadium to get it. And when nobody came down, when nobody accepted challenge, when nobody gave him fight he craved, that was loneliest moment of his life, standing on Dugout Roof, above 10,000 people, completely alone. Psychologists would later analyze that moment. Man standing above crowd, challenging everyone, calling them cowards. Dr. William Harrison, sports psychologist, wrote in 1950, "Ruth's Dugout Roof Challenge was not about fighting, was about control. He felt powerless, career declining, fans turning, could not control performance, so he tried controlling narrative, tried proving he was still dangerous. Still Babe Ruth, even though underneath he was terrified. Terrified of being forgotten. That is why nobody coming down was both victory and defeat. Victory because nobody would fight him. Defeat because nobody cared enough to try. Rest of 1922 season confirmed this. Ruth played differently. Less aggressive, less confident. He hit some home runs, had some good games, but never recaptured magic, never regained dominance. World Series was disaster. Ruth batted .118, one hit in 17 at-bats. Yankees lost series 4-1, worst World Series performance of Ruth's career, largely because of mental damage from May 25th, from dugout roof challenge that never healed. But Ruth learned, slowly, painfully. 1923 was different. Ruth worked harder, trained better, controlled temper better. He hit .393, 41 home runs, 131 RBIs. Yankees won World Series. Ruth redeemed, and when fans cheered him, when they loved him. Ruth remembered May 25th, 1922, remembered standing on dugout roof, remembered how lonely he felt, and he appreciated 1923 differently, appreciated that fans forgave him. That failure was not permanent. That redemption was possible. May 25th, 1922, Polo Grounds, New York. One man versus entire stadium, one challenge, one moment, one turning point. Babe Ruth learned that day you cannot fight everyone, cannot challenge world, cannot stand alone against thousands. Some battles cannot be won with fists or threats or rage. Some battles require different approach, require humility, require acceptance, require growth. Ruth learned those lessons, eventually, but not that day. That day he just stood on dugout roof, arms spread wide, yelling at crowd, and nobody came. That was his victory and his defeat, both at same time.